guys, welcome back to Farmer's Life Homestead. It's great to see you here, and if this is the first time we're meeting, I'm Stacey. So today I want to make up some more bread rolls to go into the freezer. I've been using them for a couple of months now, and it's really handy to have the rolls in the freezer, and as I need them I just pop them out and let them rise and chuck them in the oven, and bam, I've got some bread rolls. I haven't made a loaf yet for the freezer, so I'm going to trial that as well, so watch out for that video when I do. Right, as always, first thing in the morning I like to unload the dishwasher from the night before, and then I can start on with my day. Thought tonight we might make Big Mac, Copycat Big Mac burgers. So I need to get some mince out. I'll probably have to thaw it in some water, and yeah, come along and see what I get up to today. Grab buns out that I made the other day. So these I've just been on a tray with silica mat and freeze them into the little bun size. I only need to take out probably maybe 6 of them that we can have for lunch. We had sun fried chicken burgers last week and they were delish. And I made what's that? Oh, TikTok. What is it? Tacos. Big Mac tacos, that's it, and it's on TikTok, and I don't really follow TikTok, but my daughter does, and she was like, hey mum, look at this, so gave them a try, and oh my gosh, so good. So yeah, I've got to make up some Big Mac sauce, so we'll do that, and actually when I make up some more rolls, I'll make some bigger buns to make hamburger buns to go with dinner. Right, 1, 2. Right, and I'm going to put the rest of those into a snap lock bag. That's why I need to make up some more. And a partial freeze them so they don't stick together. I don't need to put the date on because we'll use them pretty quickly. So I'm just going to leave these on the bench. I'll just cover them with a bit of plastic wrap because I've already used it anyway. And just thaw them out, let them rise, and then pop them in the oven. Right, I'll reuse that. That out of the way. And I'll get my Thermomix up and running. Right, get all my ingredients out. Right, so I need the dough cycle. I love these machines, they are brilliant. We're going to put it 2 minutes. 2 minutes on this machine is equivalent to 10 minutes of hand kneading.
I will link the recipe in the description. It's my own good recipe.
Sometimes you just have things go wrong in the kitchen, and I just felt all the butter in the bottom of the oven. I should have actually filmed it, but my reaction was like, eh. Anyway, these things happen. So I've put some more butter into the oven, and I need 1/4 cup to go into this recipe, melted, and I got rid of our microwave, so I'm old schooling it and popping it in the oven. I'm also rising the bread rolls on the stovetop because the heat of the oven is just helping it rise that much faster. So use that heat, especially that it's winter over here and it's pretty cold. This bread recipe, I'll link it in the description, I use for my loaves, my bread rolls, and for hamburger buns, and it's brilliant. It's a lovely bread. It's really easy, and I've not had a failure. So yeah, definitely check it out and see how you go as well. You want it nice and puffy like that. So I'm just adding the 1/4 cup of melted butter, and it's okay if it's not all the way melted. It will sort of melt into the dough. And I'm going to put in, the recipe calls for 5 to 7 cups. Usually most of them take about 6. So I'm putting 6 in, but later on I kind of realized that I should have done what I usually do, which is put in 5.5, then knead it, and then put in another half if needed, because the dough did turn out just slightly drier than what I would normally have. Now I'm just adding some milk powder because instead of milk, half a cup of milk, I use water and add the milk powder instead. It's a lot cheaper that way. A little bit of salt, doesn't have to be sea salt, it's not a problem. And then what we're going to do next is pop the lid on, and then the Thermomix will do its cycle for 2 minutes. So I usually, while this is going, stay by the machine because the can wobble a bit. This recipe usually makes 1 whole loaf and some buns. So if I'm making a loaf of bread, I put the remainder in the freezer if I'm not using the buns. So this has got a minute to go, and then I'll show you what it looks like. You want your dough to be quite sticky. Don't be afraid if it's sticky, because what happens is flour will continue to absorb the water, and if you have it too dry, you're going to have a dense, dry bread. So the secret is sticky. Don't be afraid of the sticky dough. You can always add a little bit after the first rise. That's what I found. It's a good technique anyway. 23 seconds to go, and of course it cleans itself, so I love this machine. I was signed up to be a consultant for a little bit, but it was just too much for me with my operation coming up. 7 seconds. It's finished. I'll show you what it looks like. See if I can grab you. Right, can you see how it's still quite sticky? And I'm going to pop it into a bowl. And I'm just going to pop this bit in and it can clean itself while we move on. All done. Nice and clean. And just rinse off the soap, the lid. Right. So I think I've got the 2 breads rising, the rolls and the other dough, and I think what I might do is make up the heaped Big Mac sauce, and the flavours will meld nicely. It's, what's the time here? 11:15, and yeah, that'll let the flavours get all nice and unctuous. I love that word, unctuous. Right, I'm just going to put away all this stuff. Oh, by the way, I'll show you how the vanilla is going. We filmed this back in December. I've got a video, I'll link it. You see how dark it is now. So I did have 3, if you recall, and 2 were vodka and 1 was rum. So I put the 2 vodka together, and there's the rum. So it's really starting to darken up. About a year will be nice if you can see all the vanilla beans all in there. So I'm looking forward to that. I should actually probably start another lot. So I've got a continuous supply. But no, I'm quite happy with these. At the moment I'm still just using the imitation. Oh, but another great thing about my Thermomix is I made golden syrup. It's a little, I think I needed to cook it for just a little bit longer, but I've been using it and it's really, really good. Right, now into good old Google. Big Mac sauce. Oh, there it is. Okay. So with most things I will take a look at a recipe and I will kind of make it my own, add a little bit more of a zhuzh. My most used herbs are up here. So there's the garlic, there's the paprika, onion powder, what is this? Onion powder, oh, look, that's this one here. No mustard at the moment. I've actually, I'll show you. Just got this sitting on the bench. I've got another day and then I'm gonna, it's a different recipe. The yellow of the turmeric. I also have how to make mustard in another video. So I'm just going to use some mustard powder, and I'm looking for, here it is, some of the loaf. This is day 3 and it's still squishy as. It's the best bread recipe. Toasts up lovely too. Right, and some onion powder. I just made this up the other day from dehydrated onions. I whizzed them up in my Thermomix and now I've got some powder. Probably need some salt as well, and gherkin and tomato sauce. I don't have any gherkin relish, but I'll just use gherkins. Gherkins, pickles, whatever you want to call it. I'm out of mayo, so I buy it in bulk. Although I am going to start making my own. Just so super easy. Once the chickens come back on the lay. It's about a cup of mayo. Probably a little over. I'll pop that into jars and pop it in the fridge. Right. Might smudge of tomato sauce. Do a teaspoon of paprika. Get about half a teaspoon of the mustard powder. garlic powder, probably go half a teaspoon of that as well, and the same with the onion powder. Salt. Mix this in. Definitely not as red, so it needs a little bit more tomato sauce. And we also need, let's see how we go opening this. Just bang the jar lid on the edge of your bench, and that usually works. So we need some of the pickle juice. Not quite as red as I want. I also buy that in bulk. That's better. Now I just need to chop up some gherkins as well. This family loves their gherkins. Hopefully I can make my own this year. Hopefully if I can get a garden in. My surgery, I'm not sure if it'll happen, but I've started to prepare it. Okay, so we're just going to chop these up. Now, I've just had a thought. I reckon dill would be quite nice on it. Just a tiny splash of dill. I think the sauce will go redder as it stands. I'm going to get some dill. Because dill is usually in pickles. So to me, that makes sense. I think it needs just a little bit more. This is me. I just eye everything. Make it up as you go along. That's how you learn how to cook. Alright, we'll give it a try. It's close. Not quite there. A little bit more paprika and a little bit more dill and probably a little bit of mustard. So you just taste as you go. I can taste the onion powder, the garlic powder, so I don't need any more of that. The gherkins, I've got the acidity of the juice, so instead of vinegar I've used that instead. Needs a little bit of a kick, so a little bit more mustard. I don't want too much. And I'm going to put a little bit more dill, because that background flavour is quite nice. And another squidge of this. Good mix, and it's going to stand for a while in the fridge as well. not stand really, it's going to sit in the fridge. Right. That's it now. Another tray. That did the trick. That's really good. I think that's going to be really good after it's been sitting in the fridge. So I'll pop that into a jar. So now I'm just going to put everything away and have a quick tidy up. And I think the bread is almost risen enough for us to form them into the dough balls. It may be winter here, but by gosh, it's actually quite hot. Might have to take off my cardigan. Just started sowing some seeds. But I've got a little mini shed that I need to fix up to make as a gardening shed. Have my own little space. I haven't done anything in the garden for 2 years and it's just an absolute overgrown paddock of grass. So it's going to be a bit of work for this old lady. But that's alright. I don't work anymore. I've got all the time in the day. So we're all cleaned up. And I'm going to grab the dough because that looks like it's ready enough to start forming into the hamburger buns and the rolls. Okay, I'll go and grab the buns. Let's have a look, see how these are going. Well, they're thawed and they're just starting to rise. Oh, you can't see, sorry. See how they're already rising? So we're going to leave them a little bit longer. They will rise in the oven as well, but give them a bit more time. There's our dough. So we'll get to working on that. I'll bring it down so you can see how I roll my dough. So I've just portioned out the dough. I don't bother about weighing them or anything like that. So I've got the 4 up there that will turn into the hamburger buns, and then the rest will just become normal rolls that will pop in the freezer. So I'm just sort of squeezing it all down on the bum end of it, wiping off all the flour because it's not getting enough traction. And then, so you squeeze it in like that, and then you sort of make a cup, a C with your hand, and then you just sort of roll it around that C. You just keep going until the top is all tight. And you continue that with the rest of the buns. And these are the bread rolls, so we're just going to pop them in the freezer now and then bag them up once they're frozen. Yeah, that's them in the freezer, and I've put the other bread rolls into the oven, and we're just going to let these buns rise. First of all, you're going to grab a pastry brush and just brush some water over the top of the buns. You can use an egg wash if you prefer, or milk, but I've just grabbed the water today. And then I'm going to pop sesame seeds on the top and just sprinkle them. You could use any other toppings that you like, but I quite like the sesame seed. And then what you need to do is sort of flatten the dough, because a hamburger is more around a flat bun, so I'm just pushing it down as well. There they are. Oh, that's hot. This has been cut into 3. So I'm going to put a little bit of the Big Mac sauce there. Some lettuce. Patty broke up, but it's okay, it's still going to taste the same. Slice of cheese. I like barbecue sauce, so I'm going to put barbecue sauce rather than tomato sauce on here. Pickle, lots and lots of pickle. And then the next layer, oh my gosh, it's going to be a big burger. This barbecue sauce. Gosh, I'll have to move the camera a little bit so you can see, and more that, and then more of the secret sauce on the top. How's that for a burger? It's like about an hour before it starts going dark here, and I've been water blasting the meat chiller outside, and doing some jobs, lighting the fire, and yeah, this is the burger. Oh my gosh, there's no way I'm gonna eat this on camera, but I have tried the sauce. Perfect. Alright. I just wanted to say thanks so much for joining me today. It's been really great getting behind the camera again, although somewhat rusty. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and have a look out for the next one, and I hope to see you again soon. Okay, bye. Take care, my friend.